Wolf, and if you're new to the channel, I don't usually do these videos, and if you're not, you already know that. But today I want to tell you a really wacky story about something that happened literally this Wednesday. But a disclaimer before the story starts, I would just like to let you know that if you are reminded of any of these events, then you likely go to my school. Hi fellow schoolmates. For your and I's safety and privacy, please do not comment any of your real names or my name or any of personal info. Just say, hey, I went to your school. Maybe approach me when you get there, because next week I don't think we have break yet. Anyway, back to the story. So it was a pretty average feeling day. When I got to school, I remember it just being a very normal day. I usually don't think that days are normal. I'm usually expecting something to happen. Something that'll spark joy into this dreary life. But to no little surprise, the day went on as normal. First, second, and, well, the half of second period was very boring. I went down the stairs and I went to my third period class math. When I got to math, I sat down with my little warm-up paper that was set up at the front of the class. While I was working on the problems, though, the fire alarm went off. Yeah, I think you know where this is going. So the fire alarm went off, and very calmly, my math teacher instructed us to leave the room. When we left the room, I saw that although the doors to the cafeteria are never closed, this time it was. And as we passed it, every single kid commented about it, that the doors to the cafeteria on every single end of the room was closed. Even when we went upstairs, which is another entrance to the cafeteria, or a balcony towards the cafeteria where you can watch over it, even that was blocked off. So we started to get very scared. And as the, what should I call them? The staff were excusing us out of the fire, quote unquote, infested school, we heard one of the staff members say that this was definitely not planned. So it just made me and my friends freak out a little bit more than we should have. I think the people who heard it were, let me think, Monty, Laura were with me the whole time because they have my third period class math with me. So they definitely heard it too. So we were outside and we were literally freaking out as we found our class and lined up. While we were lined up, I recall that we were just freaking out, jumbling about how we left our important notebooks in there. And of course, some people left their watches, their phones in their locker, bunch of money, talkies, whatever's flammable in your locker is gone. I remember a girl who brought her favorite stuffy to school. She left it in there because the teacher told her to, even though it was in her pocket the whole time. She said it would be a burden, but it was in her pocket the whole time. It's a really dumb rule. Change it! Anyway, after that fiasco had happened, we started to see smoke come out of the top of the roof building. This made us freak out a lot because, like I said, all of our important belongings are inside the school right now, and so we were just freaking out. But we were saying that maybe we could get something out of this, you know? Maybe we could go to Bella's afterwards. This count as a traumatic experience. So we were all devising some sort of plan to walk to a local coffee shop if our parents let us. But then, like a few minutes after we had devised that whole plan, the teachers instructed us to move back into the building. Yeah, I know. Move back into the building that we thought was burning? That just didn't make any sense to me. But we were eternally glad that if we are able to move back in there, then the fire was likely put out. We saw a bunch of the fire team and some fire trucks pull in, so we actually got scared that the cafeteria was on fire and that our food was going to be burnt. So when we went inside, the classrooms and the hallway was completely unharmed, but the cafeteria doors were still closed, likely for the firemen to do their job. Obviously, this wasn't a drill, so the firemen had to come. It's America. This is a regular news cycle thing. Anyway, when we got back into our classrooms, the teacher told us that she had just as many questions as we did and had no idea how to answer them. We had no idea really what happened, or if it was just some sort of sick joke, maybe a what could have possibly happened? A malfunction in the alarms? We were thinking about it for a while, and most of the class agreed that it was probably just a small kitchen fire that set off an alarm. Obviously, if it were to be able to put out, then likely the alarms wouldn't have gone off themselves, somebody probably pulled it. While we were there, though, our principal walked into our room and pulled my teacher aside for a second. When she got back from talking to him, she said that our class would be longer, which really sucks because I had math that period. Math! Yep, so I had an extension of math while we tried to figure things out. We were still in the classroom debating whether or not it was on fire or not, or if we were really safe in the building. Obviously, if we were in the building, it was likely safe, but who knows. But lunchtime came because it's literally right after that class, and we walked into the cafeteria, which was completely normal and unharmed. We walked into the kitchen area to grab our food, and we saw nothing of the unordinary sorts, so we started to question whether or not if it was a real fire. Helpy walked up to us because he always sits with us during lunch, and he told us that it was likely not a fire and probably someone in a different grade pulling the fire alarm for fun. This was honestly a believable story, but it sounds like something some kid in the 90s would do. Really weird. Either way, when we got there, okay, really sidetrack, but I know this is gonna give away to you people who know what school it is now, but when we went there, there's a little freezer that we pick our milk out of, and our usual brand was not there. Like gone, it was replaced, which only made rumors grow worse that the something in the freezer was burning. Who knows, honestly. But either way, we sat down and suspicion just arose. Because after class, we went to our next classes, our allieds, and all the teachers told us that we should just act like nothing happened. Like, they're not even going to email our parents, they're not going to have anyone tell anyone anything, we're just gonna pretend that didn't happen. Yeah, real clever school. Real clever. Right after my orchestra teacher had told me that we should just act like nothing happened and go with the rest of our day, when literally 2 kids I saw in another classroom beside us have a panic attack over it, we just decided that, hey, what's the point anymore? There was no fire. Let's just pretend like nothing happened, not email our parents, and not tell their kids why they were having a panic attack in the school day. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. So, as school day went on, we started to notice that more and more staff were getting more secure about what happened and saying that it was likely some kid pulling the fire alarm. So this kind of made us reassured, but we were still not entirely sure. The next day came, and the next day was kind of interesting, because what happened was, when we got to school, a bunch of the people were still talking about it. I asked my friend, we're gonna call her Susie, and Susie is my friend whose locker is right beside mine. And I asked Susie if she knew who did pull the fire alarm. And she told me it was one of the kids in the special ed classes who were having their lunch at that time. which made sense because their lunch was during when the fire alarm was pulled, and the most fire alarms are located in the cafeteria near the kitchen areas. But it just still suspicions, you know, because we have a bunch of troublesome kids in our grade, but I don't think any of them would be able to have the guts to do that. And the 8th graders are just a little too close to graduation to really, how should I say this? Act up. So we decided to go on the rest of our days, and according to the teachers, yeah, it was a special ed kid that pulled the fire alarm and triggered a fire. But it was still very frightening to think that everything would have burned down if it wasn't that the case. But honestly, I'm glad that something interesting happened for once. I'm still mad that they didn't email our parents though. It was just like they tried to cover it up or something. Super weird. My school's always trying to cover up things, but this is a little much. Alright guys, I'll see you later, my Cassidys and my Gregorys. Love you. Mwah.